Hi everyone, my name is Simon Coter and I'm Director of Product Management for Linux and Virtualization at Oracle. Today I'm going to talk with you how you could, for example, increase security using an AirGap solution with Oracle VM VirtualBox, right? So let's first introduce the cybersecurity topic, right? You are maybe aware on the fact that cybersecurity is today at the top of the IT challenges, right? And here we have some statistics to discuss about these. So first of all, 66% of the companies of ITs will increase their spending on cybersecurity. So we are talking about 2 or 3 companies are going to do this kind of thing, right? 60% of the companies believe that a major security could cause a bankruptcy in their industry, right? And 71%, at the end, keeps people in a company up at night, or they have as the cybersecurity in their top of mind. And further statistics about this topic, about the cybersecurity. So a cyber attack incident happens every 11 seconds, or happened every 11 seconds in 2021. And if you think about this, it means that you have around 6 events in a minute. And this kind of number double up if you compare the same with 2019, right? And it's 4 times if you compare again with 2016, what happened in 2016. And the cybercrime is evaluated to cost 6 trillion in 2021, was the half in 2015. Right. So 6 trillion, we are talking about the 3rd largest economy in the world. So cybersecurity or cybercrime is today really one of the top challenges for an IT. And at the same time, we are talking about a huge amount of money, right? A huge amount of money that a company could lose, or a huge amount of money that a company already lost in the time. And the important thing to know is that all the possible companies could be affected by this kind of problem. Here we have a report related to the last year, and as you can easily see, all the company types have been affected by this kind of problem, right? Starting from government, arriving to financial. So there's no real company type or market segment that is not affected to this kind of problem. And this is a very important issue. And all of those companies are today trying to fight versus the cybercrime, to keep their data protected, to keep their data secure. Now, today, I'm going to introduce Oracle VM VirtualBox. And immediately after that, my target is to share with you how Oracle VM VirtualBox can help on this kind of issue, on this kind of problem related to the cybercrime. So I think that most of you already know what Oracle VM VirtualBox is, right? At the end, it's a desktop virtualization software. And another point I would like to add is that many companies always look at the server side of their IT, or at the end where data resides. But the most important problem is that many times the breach into a company is created by a desktop or by the client, right? By the laptop or desktop environment that is used by an employee. And so this is why Oracle VM VirtualBox, as a desktop virtualization solution, can help you on fighting versus the cybercrime. So VirtualBox is today there and available for all the main operating systems. So the same solution is there for Windows, macOS, Linux, as well as Solaris, right? And so what does it mean? It means that it's a solution that can run everywhere. So it's not a limited solution that could force a company, for example, to run just on a particular operating system. It's a solution that can run everywhere. And on top of Oracle VM VirtualBox, we today support a wide range of guest operating systems. That means that you can run Windows, again, Windows, macOS, Linux, as well as Solaris virtualized on top of Oracle VM VirtualBox. Over there, we have a very easy to use graphical user interface, so it's very user-friendly. And that said, obviously, as a desktop virtualization solution, we have a full set of virtualization functionality that they are related to storage and networking. We have the opportunity to create shared folders between the host and the guest operating system. So that means that the VM running on top of VirtualBox can get access to the host disks, and so host files and folders. Over there, we have the capability to take snapshots of your virtual machines running on top of VirtualBox. Those virtual machines can be exported and imported into the OVF, so the Open Virtualization format. And that kind of thing also takes us to the fact that with Oracle VM VirtualBox, you can even decide to build appliances. An appliance, just to be clear, an appliance at the end is a ready-to-run virtual machine, right? Or a virtual machine that you can share with someone, and that person will have the opportunity to run the same environment you're also running on your desktop environment. That said, as we said, we have a great GUI there. It's very easy to use, but at the same time, we have a powerful and descriptable command line interface. And by the command line interface, you can really automate any possible step, any possible operation on top of Oracle VM VirtualBox. VirtualBox also exposes API, so it's not just the CLI, so it's not just the command line interface, but you also have API that allows you to even automate by writing code into different program languages like Python, Java, PHP, or C++. Yeah, within Oracle VM VirtualBox is a unique product because it's a product where we have a vibrant community participation. We have a huge community behind VirtualBox, but at the same time, we have the commitment of Oracle development and support, right? So it's a quite famous solution. Yeah, we have thousands and thousands of downloads for Oracle VM VirtualBox daily. So it's quite unique, right? There's a huge community behind the open source solution, as well as enterprise Oracle development and support. Now, VirtualBox is today leveraged for many different use cases. Right? We have the development use case where at the end, developers have the opportunity to run their development environments virtualized on top of VirtualBox. We have the sandboxes at the end, mostly used by system administrators that are able to recreate possible issues that happen or happened on production environment or server-side environment. But another capability that is there, thanks to VirtualBox, is the fact that you can run any kind of operating system virtualized on your desktop or laptop device. What does it mean? It means that it does not matter which kind of operating system you have on your device. On top of that, you can run any kind of operating system, even legacy releases of an operating system. And you also have a secured layer granted by VirtualBox, because VirtualBox gives you the opportunity to encrypt the entire virtual machine running on top of your laptop. And so if you think to the possible architecture that you can get there on your laptop or desktop environment, at the end, we said, it does not matter which kind of operating system you have on the host, you have VirtualBox on top of the same. And VirtualBox could really be the secure, transparent layer for your system. Because while running a VM on top of VirtualBox, you are going to run, let's say, a secured environment on top of your host operating system. And that kind of operating system, that kind of virtual machine is going to be secured thanks to the encryption that is there in VirtualBox, encryption that is not going to introduce any kind of performance penalty, but at the same time gives you the opportunity to share or to run the same virtual machine, the same operating system, and the same applications. It does not matter where, right? So I can have hundreds or thousands of different employees, and maybe some of them are running Windows, some of them are running Linux, others are running a macOS. And my corporate requires a particular operating system to get access to ERP, to financial systems. At that point, VirtualBox is really great because that kind of operating system will run transparently on top of any device. And this is why we are talking about a secured, transparent layer. Another great capability that is there on Oracle VM VirtualBox is the remote virtual machine access over remote desktop protocol. What does it mean? It means that in a company, you can have a centralized management for all of your virtual machines running on laptops, running on desktops, running on employees' devices. So a system administrator can centralize, manage all the possible virtual machines running on top of VirtualBox on company devices. This kind of thing gives a centralized management solution for the entire architecture that is there, or for the entire list of different laptops and desktop environments, right, that are there for the company. And obviously this is really important, right? You cannot think to have or to build a secured and transparent layer for your desktop environments without having the full administration and the complete administration of the same. And obviously, by having a remote access to all the VMs running on the employees' devices, you will also have the opportunity to possibly and easily restore any kind of VM. And so in case of issues, right, you will always have the opportunity to get your employee restarting from scratch. It does not matter what happened to the virtual machine, right? It does not work anymore. Okay, we can redeploy the virtual machine on the company laptop or the employee laptop. And starting from there, the employee will then start to work again. We have customers today, for example, that already created this kind of architecture, and employees are also autonomous on rebuilding from scratch their work environment or their job environment. They have instruction on how to do it, and thanks to the fact that we have a very easy to use GUI there on VirtualBox, all the people could be able to possibly restore an environment on top of VirtualBox. So now let's try to introduce one of the most famous cybercrime or approach of the cybercrime. What is a ransomware? Ransomware is a type of malicious software, or it's also called malware, and it's designed to deny the access to your device, to your system. And usually you are asked to pay a fixed amount of money to possibly get access back to your device, to your laptop or desktop. This is a ransomware, and lately this is quite a common approach coming from the cybercrime. Right? At the end, if your device is going to be affected by a ransomware, you're going to lose the access to your data, or even you're going to lose the access to your device. And starting from there, obviously, you are not anymore able to work, right, or able to continue of what you were doing. Now, I would like to share with you some information about the ransomware attacks. So FBI said that different companies already spent $1 billion in ransomware payments. Baltimore City government, right, had an issue of this type with ransomware in 2019. And public statistics that are there saying that they've lost around 18 million. Again, as we already said, every 11 seconds, a business activity is victim to a ransomware attack. 284 million ransomware attacks happened just in 2018. 284 millions. Yeah, and this is very, very important. Ransomware from phishing emails increased 98% in 2017, right? So double up in 2017 compared to the previous year. And again, as I said to you before, many times the cybercrime tries to get access to a company by reaching out desktop or laptop environment, or by writing, for example, an email to your personal email address or to your company email address. So, yeah, again, I would like to remind this kind of thing. Security is mainly applied to the server side, right, where data resides, or where the company data resides. But many times, cybercrime is able to get access to that kind of data just because they first got access to the desktop or laptop or to a simple employee device. Yeah, phishing emails are responsible for 91% of cyber attacks, right? That is really, really near to be quite 100%. Yeah, 77% of corporate ransomware victims were running up-to-date protection, right? Up-to-date protection means up-to-date antivirus, up-to-date firewalls, up-to-date security software, right? But they've been affected. Yeah, most of those cyber attacks, as we already said, are financially motivated, right? They usually ask to have money to give you back the access to your data or to your device. Yeah, and 98% of those ransomware attacks are then paid or required to be paid in Bitcoin, so with cyber crypto or crypto value. If you think to all of those statistics, you can easily understand that the amount of money is huge. And at the same time, desktop and laptop or employees' devices are today an important piece while looking at the security for the company. Now let's see together how a ransomware attack can happen, right? So here on the left, obviously we start with the attacker. Yeah, and what usually happens is that the entity try to share the malicious code, right? As we already said, mainly or 91% of the statistics we are saying by using a phishing, so by using phishing emails, for example. And so, yeah, this kind of email message is going to be sent. An important thing I would like to add here, we know that in a company, many times the business email, so the company email is really protected, right? And so maybe you won't get an email of this type on your business email address. But the problem is that usually with your laptop, with your company laptop, you're also used to receive emails on your private email address, right? And over there isn't any kind of protection, right? You can get access to your personal email address by visiting a website, right? And over there, obviously, there's no real protection that can grant that you are not going to open a file, or can grant that you are not going to open a link that is there into the email, because you received the email, right? There's no control on the private emails. And so if you're going to open your private email address, and you will open an email there with the malicious code that is there, at that point, your device will start to be affected. And as soon as your device will be affected, your device will be the Trojan horse to then get access to other systems that are part of the same network or that are there in the company. And so the malicious code is able to use the networking connectivity, right, that your laptop or your device has to then get access to many other systems. And those many other systems could be other employee devices, as well as servers or where the company data reside. As soon as this kind of malicious code is able to get access to that data or to that system, your company will start to be in trouble, right? Because system administrator will start to lose the control, right? And maybe won't be able to manage the possible security issues. And starting from there, your company is already starting to lose money. The other point is that when this kind of thing happens, it's not just the fact that you are going to lose the access to your company data or your company systems. It's also the cost and the effect to possibly restore the entire infrastructure where the malicious code had been able to get access. And at that point, you can even discover that, for example, there are other issues, right, mostly or mainly related to the backup, right, when the last backup had been taken. For a company, losing 1 hour could mean nothing. For another company, losing 1 hour could mean a huge amount of money. And so while you are there in that particular issue, you are immediately starting to really lose money, right? Now, and this is a very quick example, right? There are so many other options that at the end could get a malicious code getting access to your company network as well as your company systems. This one was just an example, right? And again, the important thing is the fact that a desktop or a laptop environment that you usually use and run to work for your company is used for different type of requirements, right? You can use that device to work and to get access to your system while working, but at the same time, you can easily, and maybe this is quite common, use the same device to do other stuff, like opening your private emails. Now, let's see how VirtualBox can help. Again, we said before, we have a host operating system, and over there we can have macOS, Windows, Linux, Solaris. Let's suppose that there's a centralized control on the host operating system, right? And over there, we have a secured operating system. What does it mean secure? We have everything that is today there on a standard company laptop, right? So the antivirus, the firewall installation, encryption, security. But here, the important thing is that the user or the employee won't have root or administration authorization on that host operating system. Over there, to the user, you are going to just give internet access, like, for example, browser, so just to surf on the internet, as well as emails. But this kind of host device won't get access to the company network. No company network access coming from the host operating system. Right? And in this case, could also be interesting the adoption of a personal device. I can have a personal device. This personal device won't get access to the company network. At the same time, the company device, the host operating system of the company device won't get access to the company network. Continuing on this solution, on top of the host operating system, we have VirtualBox. And VirtualBox, obviously, as we said, give us the opportunity to run a virtual machine on top. So with VirtualBox installed on the host operating system, we have the opportunity to create a virtual machine. And this kind of virtual machine will be, again, secured and encrypted. Secured by the fact that the company will decide which operating system to run, which patch level to have there. And at the same time, this virtual machine will be encrypted. To get the virtual machine built and running on each company device, everyone will leverage an appliance built by system administrators. What does it mean? It means that the system administrator team will create the appliance, will define the virtual machine that all the possible employees will have to run on their device. And there won't be any kind of difference between what employee number 1 is running and employee number 1000 is running. All the employees will run the same virtual machine, the same operating system, the same applications on top of it. And so, thanks to this, there will be a company standard, right? So what does it mean, a company standard? As already said, different employees can have different device type. macOS, Linux, Windows, and even different hardware device or devices coming from different vendors. With this kind of solution, all the people will run the same appliance. There won't be any kind of difference between all the employees. Another option, and this is also something that some of our customers did, is to possibly build an appliance per business unit. So instead of having one unique appliance for all the employees, I can decide to build a build appliance for the finance team, a build appliance for the IT team, with different applications, different access, and different configurations. This kind of virtual machine running on top of VirtualBox won't have internet access. So no access to standard browser, no access to private emails, and no access to internet, generally speaking. It will be, obviously, a virtual machine with single sign-on enabled, right? So only the employee will be able to get access by supplying the company single sign-on, and will be an internal-only access. What does it mean? It means that the virtual machine will only be able to work in the company network and won't have internet access. So with this kind of solution in place, you are going to have two different environments running on one unique device. One environment, that is the host one, will be the environment where you can have internet access, access to browser, access to private emails, access to everything that is related to private things or personal things. On top of the host operating system, you will have a second environment that will be a virtual machine running on top of VirtualBox. And this machine will be internal-only access or company access. And this virtual machine will be the only one getting access to the company network. So again, two different environments on one unique device, one internet and private, one company without internet access. With this kind of solution in place, if we go back, right, to the previous example, and here again, we have the entity trying to share the malicious code by using phishing or by sending an email, right? Yeah, the malicious code will again arrive to the employee, right? But here we will have an important difference. The employee will only have the opportunity to open that email or to open that malicious code on the host operating system, right? And so that malicious code, even if it's installed and it's running on my host operating system, that malicious code won't be able to get access to the company network and won't be able to get access to all the other environments that are there in the company network. So in the worst case, what is going to happen is that my employee is going to lose access to his or her private data, right? But this kind of thing is not going to affect the company. How can I get back on this kind of problem? Yeah, I just need to get the employee laptop or desktop environment restored or reinstalled from scratch. That's all. And if we look at the derived results, right? Due to the fact that the malicious code won't be able to get access to the company network, all the internal systems will continue to be secured, on their dedicated subnet, right? And won't be affected by the malicious code. And at the same time, even if someone or a possible entity had been able to install the malicious code on an employee device, they're not going to get access to the company data. They're not going to avoid data access for my company. They're not going to create any kind of issue to the company, right? So as you can see, there is a big wall, right, between the internet and the company, right? All the employees will continue to have the same capabilities because they will have two different environments running on one unique device. And so we'll have the same kind of capabilities there. The only important difference is that some of the activities are going to happen on the host operating system, and all the company activities are going to happen on a virtual machine running on top of VirtualBox. And we know virtualization is going to give us a great isolation, right? While having a VM running on top of VirtualBox, you're going to have another environment, and the two environments are not going to talk to each other, right? So there's no real connection between the two environments. And as soon as my virtual machine is connected to the company network, no one that will get access to the host operating system will be able to traverse or to get there in my company network. And yeah, this is a solution that many customers for VirtualBox already implemented. And if you think more about this, it's an important step ahead, because until today, the fight to cybercrime had been reactive, right? So there's a new ransomware, there's a new virus, and we have the fix for that virus in the antivirus. We have that fix that protects you or your operating system for that particular malicious code. With this kind of architecture in place, you are going to avoid any kind of new malicious code that is going to be created, just because there will be an isolation, right? And even if someone is going to get access to your host, the same is not going to get access to the company. And this is really the important difference, right? It's a proactive solution that really closes any kind of opportunity to cybercrime to get access to your company data, instead of being reactive on possible new malicious code. With that said, I would like to thank you so much for your time today. Yeah, and again, my name is Simon Coter. I'm there on different socials like Twitter or LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out if you have any question. I'd be glad to possibly help you on Oracle VM VirtualBox and possible use cases for the same. And again, thank you.